How you doing? It's Chris Dorsey here. We're filming out at the Redskins training camp in Richmond, Virginia, and we're kind of just documenting the logos of the companies that are involved in this criminal operation, and we'll get to the criminals at the top. Later on, but right now we're just gonna film some of these construction crooks who get kickbacks by stealing from the Richmond taxpayers. And people who steal from the taxpayers of Richmond will be held accountable when I'm sheriff. I don't understand why the jail is full of petty criminals who steal by the hundreds. Our jail is full of people who steal $50, $100, $200, $2,000, $5,000. But the ones who steal millions and billions, like Dan Snyder or Bruce Allen or Dwight Jones or Bernard, the papist rat from Bon Secours. I mean, no matter which of these crooks takes, however much of our money, by the hundreds of thousands and the millions and the billions, doesn't matter, because these crooks always seem to just leverage their original theft into stealing even more money. So we're down here at the training facility. Can't see much. We'll get a closer look later. They want to keep everything blocked off. It's near all these government buildings. It's actually on state property. People used to like to come and walk their dogs in the People used to like to come and walk their dogs around the urban forest that has been, bulldozed over in order for Dan Snyder to make even more money. And, get the Dwight Sneed on the back of there. Dwight Sneed. Yeah, we're just getting your boss's name on the back, Dwight Sneed. He's one of the crooks that gets these construction kickbacks from Dwight Jones and their little criminal network and their little minions of their bosses on top, which would be like Dan Snyder or Bruce Allen, or at the very top, the person who runs the Economic Development Authority of the city of Richmond is Jeffrey Lacker, who is the president of the Richmond Federal Reserve Bank. So we're gonna get serious and we're gonna start naming these people's names. I know that Kathy Graziano, who is also known as Snow White, used to like to cut my microphone off when I read the names and the employers or the associations of the members of the Economic Development Authority. So when we go on international television and we talk about the macroeconomics of how the world works, and then when we go in front of the criminal Richmond City Council with their little banker minions like Chuck Samuels and Snow White, and we say, look, you're carrying out treason, you swear an oath to uphold the Constitution. Oh yeah, and this freaking joker, John Belials. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Him and his father's criminal network back again. It's not gonna last for very much longer. We're tired of your servitude and your scum-sucking to get your way near the middle or the top of this international banking conspiracy that steals the money away from the American people and gives them what? A freaking training camp? A training camp? They already have a training camp. Why don't they go back to Carlisle, Pennsylvania? I guess because Carlisle doesn't have $10 billion of taxpayer money to give right into the pocket of Dan Snyder. Why don't they go back to Frostburg, Maryland? You think Frostburg can pull this off? You think Frostburg can come up with this kind of scratch out of the taxpayer money to give directly to Dan Snyder? And let's talk about the face men of this operation. Pimpin' from the pulpit, Demon Dwight Jones. This guy Bernard from the Catholic Church, Bon Secours, how did they get involved with this? I mean, those guys, I live right across the street from St. Mary's. What a shithole that is. They got choppers flying, hovering 30 feet over people's houses all hours of the night. They've got these security vehicles who speed through neighborhoods, disregard stoplights. Their construction crews are outrageous. It is noise pollution what comes out of that building. And what do they get? Tax-free city property from the Richmond Public Schools, who has a $12 million budget shortfall. Hey, wait a second. The Economic Development Authority just stole a property worth between $7 and $12 million, gave it away to Bon Secours, who won't pay jack shit for taxes. Wait a second. What could have solved that budget shortfall? I'm not sure. And then an additional $10 million given to the Washington Redskins. Wow! Wow, where could we ever find the money to educate the children? But I'll tell you one thing. Knowing what I know about the Richmond public school system, and it's more than the average person by a long shot, I would urge no one to send their children to Richmond public schools, or any public schools for that matter. They're filling your child's mind full of mush. And I'll tell you, all we need to know about how the Richmond City taxpayers' money is spent, you'll see that they're spending a lot more to incarcerate and fine and arrest the citizens of Richmond than they are to educating them. The biggest building project in the history of the city of Richmond, with all these same crooks and Dwight Sneed and Tompkins Ballard and T.K. Davis and Turner Construction, who is on top of all of these big construction operations. Turner Construction. The CEO and officers and major stockholders of Turner Construction, they're guilty of treason for covering up evidence in the false flag attacks of 9/11. They're the parent company overseeing the building of the new so-called Justice Center, which is for the intent of arresting the children of Richmond. They plan on arresting more of your children. They plan on having you pay for it, and they plan on educating your children on toxic sites. That's what they do. They want to take urban forest areas and they want to demolish them. So, pimping from the pulpit, Demon Dwight Jones and Bruce Allen, the Zionist with the pompadour, and Bernard, some lackey for the Catholic Church, can have their arms around Redskins cheerleaders on the front page of the paper. But I will say, from what I've heard, that These men, with their elitist, Illuminati, Zionist behavior, are far more interested in each other than they are in Redskins cheerleaders. But regardless, they're crooks, and they're going to get locked up when the people get in charge of the jails and the guns. And I will tell you that if the American people are satisfied with the garbage they get from the No Fun League, then I will tell you we are in a lot of trouble. All right, I don't want to run out of